Okay, good evening. Good evening again. Again, my name is Allison Ladd. I am the director here of Economic and Housing Development in the city of Newark for Mayor Raj J. Baraka. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this exciting virtual webinar to talk to you about an online auction that's coming to our city next week. We are just delighted that all of you are tuning in to hear about how you can own a piece of Newark, how you could access a piece of land here in our city that needs your love and attention, that will help us generate more revenue in our city so that we can provide more services and help provide more amenities in neighborhoods across Newark. We are so excited to be with you today. And my role tonight will really be to moderate this exciting webinar. You're going to hear from professionals, from experts, from those that are in the day-to-day operations of how we are going to convey this auction and convene this auction next week. So first, on behalf of Mayor Baraka, we welcome you. We welcome you whether you're here in Newark and you're a minority or women-owned or small business and you want to buy a piece of land to transform it into affordable housing, or whether you've come from afar outside of Newark and you want to invest in our city, because we need everyone who wants to be part of our growth to come and be part of Newark. One thing that you should all know here in our city is Mayor Baraka believes in equitable development. He believes in our vision for creating communities across our city, whether you're in the East Ward, the South Ward, the North Ward, the West Ward, and the Central Ward. We want all neighborhoods to be able to have opportunity, to have access to good schools, and to be a place that we all want to call home. So here in Newark, we have something called Newark Forward. And part of what you're going to hear tonight is how you can be part of that. Because we all want to advance our city and we want to be Newark Forward. So on behalf of Mayor Baraka, welcome to tonight. Welcome to our webinar. And we're just excited to get going. So we're going to get started right away. Oh, hello. We have a special guest. Our mayor has been able to join us. I see that he is tuning in. And as he's able to connect, I'll wait for the mayor to connect and then I'll give him a moment so that he can also speak to our audience. Mayor, we're so glad that you could join us tonight, that you could be here. I was doing a quick welcome on your behalf, but we're just really more delighted to have words from you. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, and then we're going to get right into the business for tonight. So Mayor Baraka.
Good evening. Just want to thank EHD and Office of Property Management, Keith Hamilton, obviously our Deputy Mayor, all the other folks that are up on here today, Martha and Gabby and Andrea Mason, Newark People's Assembly in the building. Just want to thank you for putting this together. We want to be able to give the residents of this community and regular folks an opportunity to figure out and learn the process so they can also bid for property in Newark. Usually this process, though not by law but by fact, has been very exclusive to individuals who knew all of the details about how to participate, how to bid, what it was necessary, and they frequent these events, all these auctions, and they purchase up the property. Sometimes they hold on to it for years and years and years, and not give regular lay people, residents, folks that are not developers or speculators the opportunity to get involved. And so this is a chance you can get all the information that you need so that you could be a part of Newark's growth. We are excited about giving you this chance and opportunity. And I would say, get your pen and paper out, take notes, figure out how to do this, and stay involved and stay engaged. You have next week when the auction actually is. And then there's the land bank opportunities after that as well. So, you have more than one chance to actually engage in Newark's development and Newark's future. So thank you, Godspeed to you, and good luck this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. We're so delighted you could join us, and thank you for being here tonight. We know that you have many things in which you spend time with, but today is important for you to be present so that you can also address the people of the city of Newark and explain how they can be part of this process. So thank you again. So with that, I would really like to introduce someone that really needs no introduction for many of you, Keith Hamilton. Keith has been a civil servant, someone who has dedicated much of his career to transforming vacant and blighted properties into neighborhood assets, someone who's committed to public service and someone who's committed to excellence. He is someone here who you are going to want to listen to. He's someone who can explain to you the process, and his team between Martha Baez and our auctioneer are going to be able to tell you more about how you can get involved and be part of this Newark Forward effort. So with that, I turn this over to Keith Hamilton, who is going to lead us through the remainder of the webinar. So Keith, please take the lead.
Thank you, Director. Good evening, everyone. My name is Keith Hamilton, and I serve as the Manager for Redevelopment and Property Management for the City of Newark. I would like to start off by welcoming all of you to this webinar for the City of Newark's first online real estate auction, which will be held next Thursday, August the 27th at 10 a.m. So please get on and get the properties that you need. I would also like to thank my amazing staff, starting with Martha Baez and others on my team in the Office of Property Management, for their hard work and dedication to putting on and organizing this online auction. As many of you may be aware, our city has experienced some hard times over the last 50 years. From the Newark rebellions in 1967 to the real estate bubble and financial recession in 2007 through 2009. All in all, the city of Newark has experienced has been hit extremely hard. And as a result, the city has amassed hundreds of vacant lots and abandoned structures through tax foreclosures and people simply walking away from their properties, thus causing a huge burden for the city and its residents, as well as a myriad of other issues like burned out shells, illegal dumping, illicit drug activity, and other criminal activities. But now, here we are in 2020, under Mayor Baraka's leadership, the city has been rising out of the ashes like a phoenix, to the tune of billions of dollars of development, a renewed focus on neighborhood development in all 5 wards of the city, a strong emphasis on new and affordable housing initiatives, as well as improving the current housing stock of one of the oldest cities in the United States. The Division of Property Management is a department in economic and housing development that is tasked with the maintenance, distribution, and conveyance of city-owned property. We achieve this task through project-based direct sales, proposal sales, and lastly, through the public auction process. Usually, we rent out Newark Symphony Hall, we hire an auctioneer, and we conduct a live, in-person auction with hundreds and hundreds of people in attendance. However, due to the current coronavirus pandemic, we have decided to value the safety, health, and well-being of our community by offering this year's auction through a completely virtual experience. While a new process to all of us, we anticipate that with our new partners at realauction.com, that this will be a successful and fruitful undertaking. This is an exciting time, and we plan to make it a phenomenal event. We propose to auction off 47 parcels of the great city of Newark's inventory, with 37 of those being structures for rehabilitation as either owner-occupied homes for sale, for rental, and 10 vacant infill lots to be developed as 1, 2, or 3 family homes. Either way, the auction and other sale processes and procedures are a major part of Mayor Baraka's overall vision and strategy to eliminate blight by addressing and repurposing vacant and dilapidated structures and restoring them back to the city's tax rolls, which becomes highly beneficial to the city and the people of Newark. It is also a part of the strategy to increase the level of home ownership to the residents who already live here, and turn as many of those residents who are renters into possible homeowners. Mayor Baraka has instructed this department to work very hard at making it easier for you to buy back your block. And we hope that this auction and the forthcoming land bank will be the prelude to making that happen. So with that being said, I just wanted to show you guys a couple of the properties that are actually going to be auctioned off. We have started inspections on our auctions yesterday, today, Friday, and then we repeat again Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If you go online to the city's website, you can find the schedule of when those properties will be open and available for you to inspect. Just bear with me 1 second as I share my screen. So first we have property in the South Ward. Most of our properties in the auction are going to be in the South Ward and in the West Ward. The vast majority of what the city owns belongs in those particular places. Those are the places that were hit hardest by the financial bubble in 2007, 2009 that I mentioned earlier. So this is one property on Seymour Avenue. This one is in the West Ward on South 19th Street. This one again is in the South Ward on South 12th Street. Again on Seymour Avenue. Chadwick Avenue, a very large one-family home. 9th Avenue. And I'm trying to get to, oh, here's one of the examples of our vacant lots on Avon Avenue. So this is just a sample of what it is that we're offering, but I encourage you all to go by the sites, visit the sites, check the inspection dates, go to do your own inspections and see which ones you're really interested in and which ones that you really want to make your own. There are about three different types of three different types of properties that we're auctioning off. The first one I will say will be owner-occupied properties. It's about maybe 5 owner-occupied properties that are in the auction. These properties are designed to be for home ownership, and you would have to live in the property for at least 5 years before you can sell it or convey it to any other party. The next will be properties that you can purchase. You can rent them, you can rehabilitate them and fix them. You can do whatever it is that you choose to do with it, as long as you fix the properties up. The third are our infill lots. We have 10 infill lots in the auction, and those 10 lots are designed to be for 1, 2s, and 3 family homes that you can build from the ground up. So I encourage anyone that's able to do so to also do that as well. This is going to be an exciting time, so I'm going to pass the mic to my assistant, Martha Baez, who's the real estate manager for the city of Newark. And there you go.
Thank you, Keith. Good evening, everybody. As Director Ladd and Keith said, we are very excited to bring this auction to you, especially because we are going completely virtual. It's a new process, and as you are excited about it, we are excited to learn the new process and hopefully bring more people, allowing more people to participate in the auction. So I'm here to talk about the rules of the auction. The process is a little different, but the rules haven't changed. All sales are strictly dependent on the conditions of sale. So this document is one of the most important documents that you need to get familiarized with. It is the bidder's responsibility to know what the rules are before they bid on a property. The document that we call Standard Conditions of Sale and also Exhibit B. It is posted on the City of Newark website on the link of the auction, Newark of Public Real Estate Auction. There's a link where you can find these and all other documents, and it is also posted in the auction website. The buyer is responsible to review these conditions, familiarize themselves with them, and if you don't understand or have any questions, you can always email us at city property auction at ci.newark.nj.us. This email was specially created for this purpose. So if you have questions about any of the conditions of sale, please send us an email and we'll do our best to answer all your questions. Keith talked about the different types of properties that are going to be, that are in the list. The list is broken down by these conditions of sale. So the first group, when you look at the list, there is a disclaimer in red that tells you what conditions of sale apply to the group of property below that condition. You have to make sure that you follow the rules for this group. The first group is mostly for, investment, rehabbing. You can sell them, you can rent them, you can do whatever is best for you. The second group, which is on the second page, is the group of properties that is tied to the owner-occupied condition of sale. So if you are buying this property, if you win it in the bid, you have to live in the property for at least 5 years before you can do anything else with the property. So make sure that if you're bidding for a property, you know what you're bidding for, because if you have, after you get a property and we convey it to you, we are going to check that you are adhering to the conditions of sale. And then again, the last group of properties, which will be on the third page, is the vacant lots. And those, the conditions is that you have to build on them within 2 years. A lot of people ask about what happens after after they meet the conditions of sale. So at that time, you will communicate with our office and bring us the proof that you have complied with the conditions of sale. But before we get there, I also want to point out that we sell all properties as is. There's garbage in the lot, or this is not good. We sell properties as is. So you have to make sure that you inspect these properties if it's available for inspection, and we posted an inspection schedule. It is on the website, City of Newark website, as well as on the auction website. We try to show each property 2 times so that you can have an opportunity to go to the property. And I want to remind everyone also that when you go to a property site, there is a form that you have to sign. It's a waiver. If you don't sign the form, you won't be able to get inside the property. And I heard from some of our inspectors that some people didn't want to sign it, but I just wanted to point that out because it is important that if you want to go inside a City of Newark property, you sign the form. So you inspect the property. You also have to make sure that you research the property in terms of the location, the conditions, what are any potential issues that the property may have in terms, of liens or stuff like that. Another thing that I put on the website today, and I also asked our partner realauction.com to make it available on the auction website, is a list of the zoning the uses for the property, because a lot of people has been coming into the office to ask, what's the zoning for this property? So we put a list, which is the same list of property, but just with the zoning information. What are the uses for that property? But even though we put that list there for you to be, to have an idea what is permitted, you always have to make sure with the zoning office, if you are, on the properties that you're planning to bid, that you can do what you plan to do with the property in terms of if you want to build, especially for building, if you want to build a 1 family, a 2 family, a 3 family, you just have to get that clear out. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, in a few minutes, when Gabby comes in to give you her presentation, she's gonna walk you through the site and through the registration process. To participate in the auction, you have to register. When you register at the site, you're gonna get a bidder number that the site is gonna generate for you. This bidder number is what is going to identify you as a bidder, but also in order for you to make deposits, you need that bidder number. Now, let me explain a little bit about how the deposit works. You are going to bid on a property and you are expected to have a minimum of 10% of your highest bid. So of the highest bidder. So if you're planning, a quick example, if you're planning to bid on a property and the maximum bid that you're willing to put in is $50,000, you at least have to have a deposit of $5,000, which is 10% of 50,000. If you don't have 10% of the maximum of the, the highest bid that you're willing to put in, the system will lower your bid to match your deposit. So if you have 3,000, you can only bid up to 30,000. Simple. Another thing about the deposits, if you put in a deposit with the City of Newark and you are the winner of a bid and you have an excess amount of money in your account that you have deposited, which is more than the required deposit, you will not get a refund for that money. That money that you have left on your account will be put in towards the sale. So it's gonna go to cover the balance of the sale, part of the balance of the sale. Now, if you do not win a bid and you provided us with a deposit, you can request a refund and we will gladly give you your refund back. I just wanted to make that clear. The other thing about the deposits, we will be taking deposits up to August 25th, and we're going to extend our hours in the office up to 7 p.m. so that you can come in to read the deposits. That's the cutoff time to make any deposits. We have to make sure all deposits that we get are going to be put in the website so that you guys could see your monies when you are bidding. So no later than 7 p.m. on August 25th, you must bring your deposit to our office. Deposits can only be made in the form of certified check, cashier's check, or money order. The City of Newark does not accept cash or personal checks. So please make sure that you get your funds certified. Go to the bank by a cashier's check or go to the post office by a money order. And when you go to the site, when you register, you'll be able to click on a link that says make deposit. When you click on that link, you're gonna see that says counter deposit. You're gonna click next and the system is gonna generate a form for you. The form is gonna have your bidder number on it. You're gonna print that form and you're gonna bring your deposit, your check or your money order with that form. We will not take any deposits without that form. So please make sure that you print that form before you come to the office to leave your deposit. The last point I want to make is if you are bidding in the, on the name of corporation, or if you are bidding or an LLC, this is when you place your bid online. If you win the bid, usually it's gonna be on your name. If you say, okay, you decide you're gonna create an LLC or you already have an LLC and you say you want your property to be under the LLC name, you need to bring to the office, not later than the next day, August 28th, your LLC papers. That's your business registration and a letter authorizing you as a representative of that company. I provided the same email address citypropertyauctions@ci.newark.nj.us. You can email those to the email, saying that if you're the winner, that you want to use that, you're winning to put on the name of the LLC, but you must email me the paperwork or you must bring it in person to the office. Because if you do not, once we submit the bids to council, the property is gonna be on the name that you provided when you bid it. So if you wanna change it to the name of the corporation, you need to read that paper. You can bring it before, it's totally fine. And you let me know what name you wanna use. You wanna use the corporation name and you wanna keep your name. So again, if you have any questions, please use the email and send us an email and we'll do our best to answer on your questions. And after the auction concludes, we will send all the bids to council for approval. And after council approves the auction, the bidders will notify everyone by mail about their winning and what are the next steps in order to close for the property. Thank you. I'm going to, I don't know, Allison, you're going to take over and then pass it on to Gabby.
Yes, Martha, thank you so much. Audience, we're just really excited that you're with us. I just checked our count for tonight, and I think we're at 865 viewers live.
Oh, wow.
And so this is just a really exciting time for us. And that means that we know all of you are very interested in hearing about how you can participate in this first online auction in the city of Newark. So as I'm turning it back over to Keith, who will introduce our next guest, I wanted to do a quick recap and takeaways that I thought you might want to jot down for those that are listening or some that may have just joined us. So first, I'll tell you, 1, visit our website. You have got to come visit the City of Newark's website, which is newarknj.gov. So please come to newarknj.gov because that is where you will see a link at the top of the page that talks about this first online auction here in the city of Newark. And the pieces of paper that Martha was showing you about the list of 47 sites, the pictures that Keith talked about, but more importantly, the addresses are listed there. Second, you can see when you can go visit the site. That is listed on that website. That website is going to be a wealth of knowledge for you as you're trying to navigate this first online auction here in the city of Newark. So again, that's newarknj.gov. Go to that site today. The second part is as is. As is a very important part of this auction. And it's good for you to know that that is how we are selling that property to you. Martha was able to explain it to you, but I do want you to remember that the property will be sold as is. The third part is again, go check out those sites. You've got to go look. Keith mentioned that there are out there every day. So go visit, see what you're looking to invest in, see how you want to be part of the city of Newark. Go out and visit, and don't forget to sign the waiver while you're there. The fourth thing I wanted to share with you is bidding. And how do you participate? Well, it's great. We have the auctioneer with us. Keith's going to do that introduction, and she's going to walk you through how actually you get to see what the website looks like, how do you do the bidding process, and how do you really participate in this online auction. And then the last thing I'll tell you is ask questions. And not only tonight, but beyond tonight. We are here tonight to be with you so that we can explain this to you because it's the first time and we want you to be part of it. So ask us questions tonight. We have Andrea Mason. You heard the mayor talk about Andrea and everything she's doing for our city. It's for us to be in our neighborhoods, in the community, and with you. And what she's going to do is help us answer some of your questions that you've asked during this Facebook Live. And then we'll try to answer those tonight. But after tonight, you can always ask us another question, and we'd be happy to answer that. And we're looking forward to you participating. So I wanted to go through a short recap as we're getting ready for Keith to introduce our next guest. And then keep jotting down your questions, asking them on Facebook, and we'll work to get to those right away. So Keith, take it away.
So I'd like to introduce Gabby Salavera. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Gabby. RealAuction.com was a company that was presented to us during the lockdown, actually. And we made a determination that this was going to be a great partnership with a group that has a lot of experience in performing online auctions across the country. And we thought that it would be a way for us to kind of expand our horizons in a sense because of the way we've been doing stuff. And you know, it's 2020 now, so it's time for us to catch up to the new times. You know, everything's virtual anyway. You know, everybody has a Zoom call. Everybody has some type of webinar that they're doing. And this is a way for us to try to reach as many people as possible through the virtual realm. So Gabby, I won't take up too much of your time. I look forward to seeing your presentation and having the people see your presentation. You're muted. There you go.
Hello, everyone. So good night. My name is Gabby Salaverria, and I am the project manager at RealAuction.com. I have worked with Martha and Keith throughout this project, and we're very excited to be hosting your first online sales. I do want to show you a few things, and I just need to have already the capability to show my screen. Is that already turned on? Just checking. Yep. Okay. So you should be able, you can see this now. All right. All right. So the site, as everyone has mentioned, if you go to the Newark site, you can see it there. If not, the Newark's URL is newarknj.realforeclose.com. So I just wanted to kind of like show that there for everybody so they could see it. And now what I'm going to
Gabby, you're not sharing?
Okay, hold on. It didn't show. There you go. How about now? Can you see it now? Perfect. Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, my name is Gabby, and then here is the URL to access the online auction, and it is newarknj.realforeclose.com. But like Keith and Martha had mentioned before, you can go also to the Newark nj.gov, and you will find the link through there. Okay, so you can access it very easily as well. Now I have here, this is your site. Okay, this is the homepage, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the homepage. And I'm going to reiterate a little bit of what they have mentioned, but show you where you can find that information. Over here on the top, you have your frequently asked questions, which is a brief, kind of like a one-page document, but it tells you a little bit of how do I participate, how do I make my bids, how do I make deposits, everything that you may have questions on, you can find it there. Is a quick Q&A section. Now, what you will also find is the contact us on the very top. And here you will have on the top section our Real Auction customer service. We want you to understand that we are here to help you with anything. I'm going to briefly show today how to use the site. We will be hosting an actual full training tomorrow, which you can actually go in and register if you send out an email to our customer service at realauction.com, or you can call our line, our phone numbers. We can register you for tomorrow's auction or tomorrow's training that we will be hosting. Okay. Now on the homepage also, some of the important items that you will find are, like Martha mentioned, the auction conditions of sale. And that's that document she was saying on, you know, how each property is going to be sold and all that. So you will have some links to all of these very important documents that, oops, I closed it, that Martin was actually mentioning before. And let me get back to your homepage. All right, so here we go. So you also have the inspection schedule, your list of properties, assessment records, your auctions property zoning. You can see them through here as well. So you can access at any time all of that information, okay? Now, in order to participate, you will have to register on the site, okay? And how you do that is very easy. In the middle of the screen, you're gonna find a register button. All you need to do is click there, and you will find a very easy wizard to follow. Just click next and start filling in the information. First thing you want to type in is, if you're participating on your company name, you can type it in there. If not, I can just go ahead and type my name. Okay, so I'm typing in my name and my email address. Okay, so now with my email address, what you need to know is we need to have the one that you normally check very often, because as soon as the sale concludes, if you are the successful winner, you will immediately get an email from our system letting you know that you won that property, okay? Also, the phone number is whichever number we can reach you, because at the end of the sale for that day, you will also get a call from our customer service letting you know that you won and give you a list of what items you actually won, what properties, okay? I'm gonna click on next after that, and I'm gonna have here name on title. This is, as they were saying, basically just, your name, how you're gonna take the property, okay? So I'm gonna type it in here, and I'm gonna click on next. Then comes your address, and from here I won't show you, the steps are very simple. Address, then you create your username and password, just like the regular registration for most sites, okay? So I'll go back to my homepage here and show you what's next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in now with a bidder account. And once you are logged in, you will get to see my summary page. Okay, on my summary page is where you will get to see kind of like an overview of where your account is at. Like Martha mentioned before, there is a requirement now that you must have 10% of whatever your highest bid is going to be for each property. It must be deposited and settled at the city's account, at the City of New York's account, so then you can actually participate, okay? So once you make that deposit, as soon as they apply the funds into your account, you're gonna see how funds available, it's gonna be updated, and you're gonna see that amount right there, okay? Also, what you will see is on the left, as I mentioned, these are those very important documents that we're also providing you links inside, and you can find your calendar. As we mentioned before, the sale is going to be on August 27th, and we have here 47 items that will be auctioned. And if you click on it, you can actually get to see the list. And this is also where the bidding happens. We will be selling it in this order, okay? And what it means is that we sell one item at a time. So how the sale works, it's a proxy bid system, okay? And what that means is that you must go in and place whatever your highest intent is, and then the system can participate on your behalf. And it will only bid one increment, which is $100 more than the second highest bidder. Okay, and I'll get a little bit more into details in just a second. Now, in order to know if I want to participate on this, obviously I need to see the property here, the address. I can click on the actual number and go into the details. So I have the legal description, what it is, which block and lot I'm reviewing here. We also provide you a link to your the property records, that if I click there, it is not maintained by the City of Newark or us, so we're not responsible for the full information that's there, but we do link you directly to that particular property, so you can take some information and maybe start your research. Like Martha mentioned before, it is your responsibility to do all of your due diligence and understand what it is that you're bidding on, okay? Because all of these properties will be sold as is. But we do provide you some, tools here so you can see some of that information. Now, to go back, I'm going to say return to my docket, and I'm going to go back and I can see all of the different items. Now, let's say I research these properties, I go to the inspections, I know what I want to participate in. In order to actually participate, I need my deposit. And how you're going to make that deposit is on the left-hand side, under funds transfer, you will find a link that it's called Make Deposit. When you click there, you go in and you have your option that says counter deposit. And as you can see here are the rules. The acceptable forms of counter payments are only cashier's check and money orders, okay? And you must have it deposited with the city by August 25th at 7 p.m. That's the deadline. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on next, and you're gonna get this printout, which you have two ways to print. Either you can click this link on the top or at the bottom. If you click on that, it's just gonna send it to your local printer. They need you to bring this in because it has your information. This is the number that they need in order for them to process your deposit and apply the money into your account. And again, you will need those funds in your account in order to place your bids. So that's how you're gonna make that deposit. Now that you've gone and you made deposits, I actually have a demo site running, which actually has a sale running right now. So I'm gonna show you how I can participate, okay? So I'm logging in, and I've got some money. If you notice here, I've got a lot of money because it's my demo. So I've got a lot of money here that I can actually start using and participating now. So I'm gonna go to my calendar. There's still 17 items remaining because this has been running for a few minutes now. So I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna see that this particular item is running. Before I show you placing bids live, I wanna show you something. I'm gonna scroll down and show you that auctions waiting. Anything that's on the auctions waiting, you can still place bids. So you don't have to be physically there that morning of the sale. If let's say you have meetings or you have something that you have to attend to, you can do your research and you can place bids basically from right now up until when the sale happens. So the system will save that bid, and then on that morning when that item starts running, it will actually participate on your behalf. So I'm gonna scroll further down because I wanna show you. So down here, I'm gonna pick this one, and I'm gonna click on place bid. There will be some bidder acknowledgements, which is again part of that buyer beware, properties are sold as is. You must confirm, so please make sure you read them and understand, and then click confirm. Once you confirm them, you will be able to enter your bid. So I have my starting point of $1,537. Let's say I want to put in $4,000. Okay, I'm going to say confirm my bid. My bid has been accepted. Now this is not running right now. So because it's not running this sale at this moment, this particular item, I can go in and I can increase, decrease, or even remove, as long as that item is not running, okay? So this is kind of like me in my head on what I'm thinking. No one else can see. This is a sealed bid system, which means not even the admins, not even myself or Martha's or anybody can see what your intentions are, okay? Only you can see your bids. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna say, you know what? I wanna increase it. I'm gonna put $5,000. I can easily do that, okay? Now, I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna go now to this one. I'm gonna say, okay, on this one, and you will have to agree to this bidder acknowledgements once per case or per item. On this particular item, I'm gonna say $3,500. Confirm bid, and off we go, okay? So as you can see here, it's as simple as that to place your bids, okay? Again, these are proxy bid systems, which means the system will bid on my behalf, okay? And it's only gonna do $100 more than the second highest bidder that's out there, okay? And then I'm gonna show you that in just a second. So this particular item is about to close. Now, if you don't wanna place bids before and you wanna wait until when it's running, you can do that as well. But you will see here, I'm not winning, okay? It's in red, it tells me you do not have the high bid over here. I have 40 seconds left. The sales basically is 1 minute per item. However, what I'm gonna show you is if there's any bid placed in less than 30 seconds, like right now, we do not allow sniping, which is like for those of you that use eBay, we will actually extend the clock and add 1 more minute. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna say, okay, I wanna participate. And I'm gonna put $5,000. Confirm my bid. You have the high bid. Okay. So I'm winning. If you look at the time, it increased 1 more minute to the remaining time that was there. I'm in green. It tells me I have the high bid. This is my maximum bid. This is the current high bid. This is what the public sees, only this section here. This bar at the bottom that it's in the colored bar, only the user logged in can see their own personal information, okay? So if someone wants to try to maybe outbid me, okay, I can see the activity. Let's say someone places another bid or something like that. I'm gonna see if it increases. Now, if the bid is less than $4,000, like look right now, for example, a bid came in. I didn't do anything. You didn't see me click or anything like that. The system participated on my behalf, okay? So now it's 4,600. That means that someone placed a bid of 4,500 and the system outbid them by $100 more. So even though I placed my 10% on $5,000, because that's what I wanted to win it at, I'm only gonna be using 5% of 4,600 because that is the amount that I'm closing this at, okay? Now, for example here, that particular property just closed, next item is running now. If you look here, I had a pre-auction proxy bid. I said 3,500, but immediately I see here that I'm losing, I'm not winning. And if I'm watching the sale, so I can place my bid ahead of time, but let's say I'm like, you know what? I think I want to go higher. I'm going to increase it. You can do that as well. You can place bids also while the case or the item is actually running. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say $6,000 because I really want this property. I'm going to put $6,000. I have the high bid again. And again, $6,000. Current high bid, $3,700. Okay. And one more time, the system will outbid anybody that is out there trying to outbid me, okay, without me doing anything. So that is what this proxy bid system is. You go in, you put what your highest intention is, and you have to make sure that you have 10% of that amount that you're going as high as, okay? That is for each item or each property that you are hoping to win. If I want to win 10 properties, I must have 10% of the highest bid for each one of those properties. That's very important because if you don't have that money, the system will cap you to only the amount that you can go as high. So the system will know if I only have $5,000, then I can only go up to, or if I have $15,000, I can only go up to 150. If I, and so forth. So the system will know what is the highest amount that you can go, and it will not let you bid higher if you're placing a bid live. So this particular item is going to close. If you notice 6,000, I won at 4,100. Okay. Now, very quickly with that, I want to show you also that as each item is closing, you can actually scroll down at the bottom and you can see immediately the bid history, what happened on each one of them. Okay. So all these ones I'm in red, I did not win. But if I scroll, actually I'm on the next page. So if I scroll here, I can see the very last one that we just closed. And I want to show you that there is a bid history available to everybody. This is open to the public. Everybody gets a chance to see exactly what happened. I'm going to click on bid history and I'm going to see, okay, 2 bidders placed bids prior to the sale starting. One was 3,500, the other one was 3,600. Then once the sale started for this item, then it started here, then at 3,700, 4,000, and I closed at 4,100. If you remember, I actually placed a proxy bid of $6,000. As you can see, it is a sealed bid. Even after you close, no one will ever know what your intentions are. So take advantage of the proxy bid system, place your bid ahead of time, that way you're not in the rush of putting at the last second. Put it in there. You're not going to win at that high amount. You're only going to win at $100 more than the second highest bidder, okay? Only what it's needed for you to actually win. Like in this case, only 4,100. Now, just to reiterate on the deposit, I must have deposited 10% of $6,000, okay? And that just means that I will use less because it's only 4,100. But the remaining balance, it will be utilized towards my payment of the remaining 90% and the fees. Okay, so this is basically how your bidding is going to work. Pretty simple. Just wanted to show you one more thing again and kind of go back to it. You do have auction results on the left, and you do have, and let me show you actually with your data, you do have a quick search. For those of you that maybe are looking for a specific property that you're interested in, you can do a search. If you look here, you can search by maybe amount range or a specific zip code, for example. Maybe I'm only looking at areas in 07107. Maybe that's what I'm interested in. Then I can narrow it down to only the properties that are on that particular area, okay? So we do have some tools for you to kind of navigate through the site. Here's the full list, and then you can narrow it down depending on what you want, and you can click on it and get into the details as well. The last thing I'm gonna say is to contact us. Again, we are here to help you, and once the site is open now to the public, please feel free to reach out to our customer service for any question that you may have. If you can attend tomorrow's training, that is great. Please call us or email us, customerservice@realauction.com. We'll register you for tomorrow's session. Even if you can't attend, you can call us. We'll walk you kind of like one-on-one, show you a little bit of the site. We're here to help you on any question that you may have that is pertaining on how to use the site and how to participate on the sale. Okay? All right, so Keith, I think I'm gonna pass it back to you. And I'm going to stop sharing now.
Yeah, thank you, Gabby. That was excellent. That was an excellent presentation. This is an excellent event that I think is going to take place on the 27th. And we look forward to all of the questions that have been expressed on Facebook right now. So, Andrea Mason.
Thanks, Keith. As we're letting Andrea join us, so we're looking forward for Andrea Mason to join the Facebook Live. So wonderful to have you with us, Andrea. Wanted to give again where we are tonight, and then we're going to turn it right over to Andrea. So I just checked. We are at about 730 viewers. So just know that there is a lot of interest in what's happening tonight, and we're excited that all 730 people are staying with us as we're continuing this conversation about how you can participate in the auction. Just a couple of takeaways, and then we'll go right to Andrea. Remember, go to visit the City of Newark's website, newarknj.gov, so you can get the information about what sites are available, how you can connect to the auctioneer's website, and how you can get more information. Second, I'd sign up for that training tomorrow. There's a training tomorrow on Friday, August 21st. So go to email that customer service address and make sure you sign up for that training tomorrow, and you'll be able to get more information about how you can participate. Third, the deposit. The deposit is a very important piece. It's 10%. And that deposit has to come to the city of Newark and come to City Hall. So Keith and Martha mentioned that we will be here on Tuesday, August 25th until 7 p.m. And we'll also make special notice so that you'll be able to get into City Hall up until 7 p.m. So again, the deposit, come here, City Hall, up until 7 p.m. on August 25th. It's really important, I'd also tell you, to do that sooner. So I wouldn't all rush here at 7 p.m. So I would come sooner because you want to get your deposit in before 7 p.m. So I just encourage you to plan.
To that statement, Allison, I just want everyone to know we have been receiving bids for the last 2 days, and we are inputting people's information into the system, so they are actually eligible to start bidding right now. So like you said, I would encourage everyone to come sooner rather than later.
Wonderful. Thank you, Keith. I'm glad that you were able to echo that. So I think with that, those are the 3 points I wanted to mention as takeaways for everybody, is to visit our website, newarknj.gov, sign up for that training tomorrow so you can learn more about how you can participate, and definitely get your deposit in early. The 10% is due here in City Hall before August 25th at 7 p.m. So let's turn it over to Andrea. We're going to answer get some questions asked and answered. And please, Andrea, if you could, and for all of you, you all know Andrea. So we're just delighted that she can join us. She joins EHD, and I know the mayor's events she hosts on a regular basis. And thank you for making sure that we're always present in the city of Newark. Andrea?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and your interest in the uplift of the blight of our city. Of course, a special shout out to Mayor Baraka for wanting this auction to happen in order to put these properties back on the tax roll. And this wouldn't be possible without Deputy Mayor Keith Hamilton and his staff, and of course, the rest of the Housing and Economic Development team. I'm Andrea Mason, and I'm the Senior Manager of Newark People's Assembly, which is the office within City Hall that aims to make City Hall more transparent by bridging the gap in communication with the residents. I'll be moderating, as was mentioned, the Q&A session, and we'll get right to it. I have two different screens, so if you see me looking back and forth, that is why. I want to also give a special shout out to the EHD staff who's currently been answering the questions on the Facebook Live. So thank you so much. So jumping right into it, and we have about 25 minutes for questions, and they're being asked in no particular order, just as I was jotting them down from the Facebook feed. First question was, are there any opportunities for low-income individuals to purchase the properties?
So our auction is pretty standard and transparent. We have set an amount, a starting bid amount, which is relatively low for the purchase of a home. Although they may need to be rehabilitated, there are opportunities for you to get counseling or acquire some type of 203K loan or rehabilitation loan so that you can actually rehab the house to the best of your abilities. What we started at in terms of the price for the properties is 30% of the assessed value of the price. So it's not a high value in terms of what we're starting the bid at. And we hope that through everyone's participation that they will be able to, win the home that they are actually trying to get, and that they have the funds available to actually make that happen.
Okay, next question. Is there any opportunity for preference to Newark residents?
So in this particular instance, an auction is a completely open process. We have no restriction or regulation in terms of who can actually bid on a property. As long as you bid on a property and you're the successful bidder, you will be eligible to acquire this property, and you meet the standards and the conditions of the sale. So in some instances, you would have to remain in a home for a period of 5 years. If it's a home that you have to build, you would have to build that within 2 years. So I will say that this might not be the sole opportunity for everyone. I mean, for anyone that's just living in the city of Newark. The city is working on, or actually not working on, we are instituting a land bank, which will be in effect very, very shortly. And they will have various opportunities for the people in the city of Newark to acquire property, to acquire homes for the purposes of them and their families.
So I'm grateful that you mentioned land banking, because that's actually the very next question. The mayor in his introduction actually mentioned the land bank. So there were a couple questions about what is a land bank, and can individuals now purchase from the land bank?
I will pivot that to Director Ladd.
Good evening. Thank you, Keith, and thanks, Andrea, for the question. Yes, Mayor Baraka championed legislation to allow the city of Newark to create a land bank. The land bank is administered by our partner agency, Invest Newark. Invest Newark is an economic development corporation here in our city that will be administering the land bank for us. And the land bank will be live in September. So I would tell you to look for more information in September from Invest Newark about the land bank. What will happen is that properties will be made available by the land bank to you. And so Keith had it spot on that this is one opportunity for you to participate in your city's growth. And another opportunity will be when the land bank comes live in September.
Perfect. And now there are quite a few questions regarding financing. And are there any grants to assist in development? Are individuals able to get mortgages to pay off the remaining balance of, after the 10% is down? Can you just speak a little bit about the financing opportunities, or if there are any?
Yes, so I'll say something and then I want Martha to chime in as well. So you're required to have 10% of your bid. Once you are the successful bidder, the property then has to go back to the council, the Newark Municipal Council, so that they can vote to approve the sale and approve this transaction. Once they do that, we then have a time frame of 2 to 3 months for closing. So we anticipate that if we conclude this auction by the end of this month, which is next week, then by the end of the year, you will actually be in the process of closing. So you have a window between now and probably late October, November, December, early January to actually get your funds together so that you'll be able to have the remaining 90%.
So we don't have any programs right now for financing to offer to the participants in the auction. But yet, if people want to secure a mortgage, I think that depending on what their financial health is, they could come to a bank and they can work with a bank, and the bank can, on the promise of getting the property from the city and having all the requirements that the bank may have for you, they can make those funds available for you and probably issue a mortgage for you. So, but that's something that each purchaser has to do on their own with their banks or any other, institutions that might be able to assist them.
Yes, and there are quite a few questions that were actually already answered within the feed, but I think it bears some repeating because they are questions that quite a few people have. So the first of those would be, are there any liens on the properties? And if there are the buyers responsible for handling those liens?
Okay. Each buyer, when they win the bid, and we start the process of closing, is responsible for getting a title search. The title search will reveal any liens or any issues with the property. In terms of tax liens or water liens, all properties that the city conveys is free, won't have any liens. All liens are merged at closing. What this means is that previous tax liens on a property, all that is null and void once the city forecloses on a property. The same for the water. So all that will be clear before you close on the property. Sometimes other judgments may appear on the tax search, and that, at that time, if the city cannot clear those judgments, then we might not be able to convey the property. But that's, in terms of liens from taxes and water, there won't be any.
And if I could, Andrea, I think that Martha said it, I think, very clearly that the city is working to ensure that the property is conveyed to you without liens that would be otherwise due to the city. So tax liens, they would be zeroed out. Water liens, they would also be. And so if there are other liens on the property that are due to some other third-party reason, not city related, then that would be a different situation, and we'd have to evaluate that on a case-by-case basis. Second, though, I think it's really important for us to remember the land bank is coming in September. And so I want people to know that if this auction next week, it's one opportunity for you, but you do, as Keith shared, there's another opportunity with the land bank coming in September. And so please keep all of your options open and look at the opportunities in different ways.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Next question is regarding the deposit. So if you don't win the bid, how long does it take to get your deposit back, and what is the process of requesting a deposit?
You can, Gabby, can you chime in about the requesting, and then I'll say the other part.
Yes, actually, for the requesting, we will be automating once Martha concludes the process and determines that yes, everything has been finalized on her end. We will be automating, and anybody that did not win, that was not successful winner on any property, will be then returned those funds via check. And then the City of Newark will be processing, and then you may want to discuss a little bit on how long or that process. But from our end, you will not need to actually request it on the site. We will be automating the process once Martha says that, yes, we have concluded, and then we will go ahead and determine who did not win anything, and those are the ones that we will give her the list and information so she can process those.
So yes, we will be then the following week, I would say about 5 to 7 business days, you will be able to come back to the city to get your deposit. And so, yeah, it's not, we're gonna try to make it as swift as possible. So yeah, you can probably just send us an email, but we will have the list of anybody that did not win any bid, and we will have your deposit for you to get back.
So the deposit will need to be picked up from City Hall, or it will be mailed to the?
No, well, at that time, if anybody prefers that we mail them, they can let us know, but we will have it at City Hall, and they could come in and get it in person.
Excellent. And along those same lines, it was a question about the not being refunded. So is there a possibility that someone doesn't receive a deposit back?
Yes, so there is a scenario where you can default on your bid. Default on your successful bid, meaning if you win the property, you're a successful bidder, we move along in the process and we go all the way to closing. And for whatever reason you can't close, and it's not the fault of the city, then technically you have defaulted on your bid, and you are not required the city is not required to give you a refund in that particular case. If there's a scenario where the city can't close on the property and it's the city's issue, maybe there's some type of lien that appeared, or maybe there's something that happened with the property and it's our fault, then we will then refund you with your bid completely.
So that's interesting, because I'm just reading on the Facebook feed now. This person says, are you able to bid on more than one property? The answer we know is yes. What happens if you win 2 properties but only intended to have one? So that would be a case probably where the deposit would be defaulted because they only really could afford the one property, but they bid on 2 different ones and actually won both bids.
That wouldn't be possible.
Oh,
if they don't have, no, you are only allowed, if they don't have enough deposit, they will not be able to win or more than what the deposit allowed. So
I understand. Maybe I worded it incorrectly. So
okay.
they had the deposit for both properties and won, but they didn't have enough money to finish the purchase for both properties because they only intended to purchase one property.
In that case, that's why everybody needs to make sure that they can continue with the process. Do your research, make sure that you can get those funds. Because if you win a property, and you decide that you don't want to close or that you cannot close, then we are, in that case, you won't get your deposit back. Only if it's on the part of the city. Gabby wants to say
Go
something.
ahead, Gabby.
Yes, I was gonna jump in and kind of say something too, that for that particular bidder, if your intent is only to win one of the two properties, they can actually wait and participate live. So if they don't win the first one, then they can try and bid on the second one. So if they don't put proxy bid prior to the sale, they can place it live and then see how they're going. So, so they can determine like, okay, if I won the first one, then I will not participate on the second one. If I'm only willing, if I can only afford the post sale fees and payment for only one item. Yeah. So I would just recommend wait and place the bids live, wait to see the results on the first one to see if you win. And if not, then participate on the other, determine what you will do from there.
But we're encouraging individuals to put as much money in that account for down payment on whatever properties that they are interested in.
Correct. They need the 10% on the properties that they are intending to win. So if, let's say I have two options, right, but I only want to win one, get the highest bid for whichever one of those two will be, only put 10% of that. So then you're covered for the highest one, but then you can determine which property you want during the sale.
Understood. Okay, so moving right along, and this is an easy question. So someone just asked, when's the auction? The auction is on August 27th, which is next Thursday at 10 a.m. And there's a training that was referenced tomorrow, Friday, August 21st, but there never was a time that was given. What time is that training tomorrow? And how does one register for it?
Yes, it is at 2 p.m. and you can register at customer service at realauction.com. If you can email us, just let us know and then we'll go ahead and register you.
Did you say the email is customer service at blueauction.com?
Realauction.com.
Okay, REAL auction.com.
Yes, Real Auction.
Thank you. And do you have to build on the lot or can it be a parking lot?
So the conditions of sale require that you build on the lot and you have 2 years to build. So none of these lots are available for parking or to create parking lots.
And I think Keith's point is important. Our real goal with the auction, and whether it's virtual or in person, is to transform these vacant and blighted properties into assets. And some may say a parking lot is an asset, but for us, what we're trying to do is find another way to think about neighborhood and community assets, whether it's affordable housing or whether it's recreational space or whatever's allowable under the planning and zoning rules. We really want it to be part of the community. And so we're looking at something that would be more part of a community than even a parking space. So we're really looking forward for people to participate in the redevelopment and the resurgence of our city.
So I'm going to combine a few questions, and this is regarding after the bid is won and after closing. So the property is acquired by the individual. How much time do they have to start the renovations? And is a proposal necessary, or once they purchase it, as long as it is zoned for a specific type of dwelling, they can build it?
So once you close on the property, the conditions of sale tells you how much time you have to rehab it. Usually is 18 months. And at the end of the 18 months, you have to present, at the end of the 18 months, you have to present the city with a certificate of occupancy, just to let us know that your project is completed. And I just want to mention that if you are not able to make that time, you can always request an extension in writing to our division. What was the other part of the question, Andrea? I'm sorry.
Is a proposal needed? So do you need to know what's going on the property?
No proposal is needed because we have, because it's an auction. And the way that we structure the list of properties let you know what you can do with the property. Only 10 vacant lots, which I can build on it. The rest of the properties are rehabs. And so those are the only types of developments you can do. Either you build a house or you repair one.
And if you're
So there's no
building,
need.
if you're building on the vacant lots, then you do have to submit your plans to
Right.
the planning board. They will let you know what you're required to build on that particular lot. So, some lots may be, you may have to build a 1-family or 2-family. And if it's large enough in a certain area, you'll be able to build a 3-family. But you have to submit those plans to the planning board of the city.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep up with the questions I have written down and the ones that I see popping up. Can the property be resold after the buyer acquires the CO?
Depending on what the condition of sale attached to the property is. If it's one of the properties that is owner occupied only, you need to stay in the property for at least 5 years. There's a first group of properties which you can then do whatever you want after you complete your CO. Sell it, rent it, live on them. The vacant lots, after you build, Keith, can they sell or they
Yes.
have to stay?
Yes.
They can sell too, yeah, the vacant lots after they build. But only the ones that have the condition attached that they must reside in the property for a minimum of 5 years, then that's the condition. They can sell after 5 years if they desire.
Okay, so that means that if they don't want to actually keep the property that's there, they can also demolish if they want and rebuild?
I think that has to be checked if the property is deemed that it has to be demolished. But if they want to demolish or rebuild, I think that's a question we need to check. What's on it? I don't know, Keith. Do you?
I think that's possible. And in that scenario, we might require some type of proposal for you to actually, make that happen.
Okay.
But we can look into that. That's a question we can look into.
Sounds good. Are any of the properties occupied?
So unfortunately, yes, there are some properties that are occupied. The city is not in the, tries not to be in the business of being a landlord. Unfortunately, we have acquired properties through in-rem foreclosure, and sometimes people are still occupying those properties. That it's not our intention to, harm anyone in that scenario. But if a person purchases the property in the auction, then it will be their responsibility to decide whether or not they want to continue as a landlord or some other fashion in terms of what they want to do with the property.
What does it mean when a property is in a redevelopment zone?
Director?
Sure. So redevelopment zones are typically, so the entire city of Newark is something called an area in need of rehabilitation. So our whole city is in an area in need of rehabilitation, which allows anyone to apply for some type of financial incentive. However, something called an area in need of redevelopment is really what allows properties and applicants to apply for redevelopment area bonds, which are issued by the city, the county, or the state. And those bonds are able to finance capital costs or construction costs associated with a project. Typically, the redevelopment area bonds are for larger projects at a larger scale, multiple stories, and multiple units. In this case, we may not see many applicants or bidders who would want to access the redevelopment area bonds, but that's typically the reason why properties are interested in being part of a redevelopment area. And so that is a different process that we'd go through, but just more about financing and the ability to access debt and capital.
Great. So regarding properties that aren't listed for this auction, if someone wants to purchase commercial property, how do they go about submitting a proposal? Are you accepting proposals for properties that are commercial?
So the city doesn't own too many commercial structures. If someone is interested in a commercial structure, then they're more than welcome to provide us with a proposal as to what they want to do with the commercial structure. And then at that point, we can decide if that is the direction that we would like to go in terms of what they want to do with the commercial structure. I will say that there are some commercial structures that we own that we're going to utilize for a artist workspace type of scenario. That's something that's going to be announced soon, probably into the fall. But a lot of our commercial spaces just aren't available. But again, we will look at proposals on it.
So there's a question again about those properties that are occupied with tenants. Will the city assist in the evictions, or does as is mean as is?
As is means as is.
Yes, as is. They have to do their research probably with the county to know their process about eviction. But yeah, as is means as is.
And I do want to stress that as is buyer beware. This is not this purchasing property and putting thousands of dollars in the pot to acquire property is not really a plaything. It's really a serious matter. It's a heavy venture for anyone to partake in. So you really need to go to the properties. Even if we're not allowing you to go into the properties to see it, you need to go see what it is that you're trying to buy. You don't need to buy this on a whim. You don't even need to look at Google Maps to buy this property. You need to go there or send someone there, take some pictures, analyze those pictures, and make a real hard determination if this is the property that you would like to acquire.
Okay, we're coming up on about 5 minutes left, and I have a few more questions, and all of these questions are really, really good. This is a wealth of knowledge that I'm sure everybody that's participating is learning. I know I am, every single question. Regarding inspections, I know someone answered that there's, I guess, a schedule on the website, but can you talk a little about how someone, if they are interested in a particular property, how they can, is it just open during the day from a certain time to a certain time, or do they actually have to be scheduled?
So no, you don't have to schedule anything. So according to the schedule that we put out, and we had to start Wednesday, we decided to do that because the website went live. So we wanted to kind of do everything in sequence. So again, Wednesday we started basically in the South Ward. Today we were in the West Ward. Tomorrow we'll do more of the properties in the West Ward. And then Monday, we'll start the process over again. So basically you can view the properties. There's a set of properties that you can view from 10 to 12 for 2 hours. And then again from 1 to 3 for 2 hours. You have the ability to go to the property. You have to sign a waiver. We have inspectors there with you, or members of the staff or property management. They give you a waiver, you sign the waiver, then you can venture into the property if you choose to, or you can just, kind of scout it as you need to.
Can you repeat that? I actually missed it. You said that what's happening between 10 and 12 and 1 and 3 and on what day?
So, okay, so Monday, so I'll just say tomorrow is going to be a set of properties. I think maybe 8 properties tomorrow that you can actually go visit. So between the hours of 10 and 12, you can go visit a set of properties. Then from the hours of 1 to 3, you can go visit another set of properties. So we trying to do this because we can't keep the properties open all day, and we have to kind of, manage the opening and closings of them, given the staff that we have. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we repeat the process again. So Monday, we start with the South Ward. Those same 10 properties, the South Ward properties will be available for you to visit. And then Tuesday and Wednesday will be a repeat of Thursday and Friday. And all of that information is on the website. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to click on it. It'll show you the schedule for you to inspect the properties.
Thank you so much. There was a question about property taxes, and the answer was that they're based on the assessed value of the property.
Not necessarily. So the assessed values of the properties are, they are at the time where you get the property and you rehab it, then the inspectors from the tax collector are going to inspect the property, and they can reevaluate the assessment at that time. And depending on that assessment at the time when you close, that's when your taxes are going to be determined. Most likely, sometime, it will stay the same for a while, but they will eventually, get the assessment based on what is there at the time, when you close. So you have to keep that in mind. It's probably going to change.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Absolutely. And let me see, one more question and then we'll do a closing. Does the property deposits, so just repeat, deposits can be made until August 25th at 7 p.m. They're only accepted by certified check, cashier check, and money order.
Yes.
If anybody has any questions regarding the auction, they would email citypropertyauctions@ci.norc.nj.us.
Correct.
You can also call 973-733-3914.
3914, which is the property management office.
Yes.
And can someone purchase a property in a company's name? I know we spoke about this a little earlier, but can you just repeat that very simply and quickly?
Yes, they can purchase the property on their company name, but just keep in mind the properties that are attached to the condition of being owner occupied will not be able to be put on a company's name because the company is not going to live in the property. So somebody has to live in the property for 5 years. So only the other properties that are not, those do not have that condition attached will be able to be purchased under the company name.
And that information is actually on the auction list if it has to be owner occupied?
Conditions of sale.
The conditions of sale. It tells you at the beginning of each group of property what conditions of sale are attached to it. And that's why you have to check your conditions of sale document, make sure that you read it.
So without further ado, I'm going to ask for closing comments because the questions will keep coming. We will be here until tomorrow morning, but everybody knows who to contact, how to contact them. I personally thank everybody for tuning in. That's the viewing audience as well as the panel. I personally learned so much. I'm looking forward to just participating in the auction as a viewer. Oh, wait. Is that possible? If you don't have money in, can you just watch it?
Yes.
See, I'm sure somebody else had that.
Yes, actually, you don't even have to register. From the homepage outside, there is access to the calendar. So you can watch what's happening without even registering. Yes.
Great, great, great. So last minute comments, closing remarks?
I just want to thank everyone for participating, and I look forward to everyone being as successful as they can be in this process.
That's wonderful. And thank you again, Andrea, for helping us with our question and answers. We're so glad that you could join us tonight. Keith, Martha, Gabby, wonderful to be with you this evening on our Facebook Live that's talking about Newark's first online auction that's going to happen next Thursday, August 27th at 10 a.m. So as we're closing out, special thanks to our communications team, Frank Baraff, Theo Theo, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm sorry. Theo, our communication director, Sandra Roberts, and everybody who's been helping to make today a reality. We are just delighted to be with you. Thank you, our viewing audience. Replay, visit our site, come to training next week. Or, I'm sorry, come to training tomorrow and come to our auction next week. So we look forward to seeing you, and thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.